Hi, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk, where we are going to have great conversations. And this week, which is episode 3, so we're celebrating episode 3. Today, we're going to be talking about scaling your business with marketing and operations. So, I'm Victoria Lynn Hannu, and I'm the moderator today. And my company is Heart and Soul CEO, and we're here to help you take your frustrations and take them from going from there to creating a business that actually lights you up and a life as well. And I'd like to introduce you to my friend and colleague, Sophie Zollmann, and I'll let her tell you about her.
Hey there. Thanks, Victoria. It's been a wild ride. We're on episode number 3. So excited. I'm Sophie Zollmann, the founder of FMD Strategic Partners. We take the guesswork out of marketing to get real results for 7 and 8 figure service providers. We are pioneering the fractional marketing department business model to allow 7 and 8 figure service providers to have enterprise level marketing without the overhead cost and management complexities that involves in-house.
And that is so important to be able to have a fractional marketing department, because you're filling that gap between, having contractors and multiple little contractors running around doing your stuff, or even just a fractional CMO, which gives you the guidance to bring these people in, to being actually ready to have your own department. And it's like, how do you go from one to the other? Well, you get Sophie, and have
Yes.
a grand old time. So today we are talking about the scaling of your business. And Sophie, why don't you talk to us about how growth and scaling actually impacts your message?
So when you're growing and scaling and things are evolving and changing, because that's what happens when you grow, you can't be stagnant and doing the same old and grow. That allows for a change in the messaging. But if you're not changing your messaging, if you're sticking with the same old while doing something evolved and new and more exciting, it gets confusing and your marketing loses its focus and you're all over the place talking about what you were doing and then what you are doing, and it gets really confusing, and you don't even realize it because you're so like in a habit. You're so content, so to speak, where you are when it comes to your marketing, but trying to grow, and your marketing and your message has to grow and evolve along with the growth and evolution of your company. So if you are inconsistent and confusing because you're still kind of muddling around your message and kind of making it really unclear because you're going from one thing to another and not doing it clearly, it ends up costing you time, money, and clients or product sales because you're not speaking clearly the language of your ideal audience anymore. You've lost your way. You've become confused. You're even kind of confused yourself because you're doing it yourself, or you're not able to communicate to someone who's doing your work for you clearly what your new thing is, who you are, what you've come to become, and what you're doing now that's going to get you from 7 figures to 8 figures or 8 figures to multi 8 figures. So it's really about not letting that evolution and transition run over each other. It's about a clear stopping of the old and starting of the new. Even if it's shocking to your audience, it's better to shock them with what's new than confuse them with, what are you doing? You were doing this, but now wait, I'm confused. So it's better to shock them and introduce the new thing point blank than to try to transition and evolve message wise, because then it gets confusing.
Absolutely. And what you're really talking about in that confusing part of the marketing message is when you're going through growth and you're going through scaling, one of the things that happens is you have to shift your alignment while you're changing your message, because you're growing inside, and the impact as you're growing, you have to establish new boundaries and new creation. And what you're talking about, Sophie, is the example of what happens when those boundaries haven't been shifted, when the internal part of your company and yourself hasn't shifted the boundaries. And I'd like to bring this to the point, and the majority of our listeners might be parents, might know parents. Well, everybody has parents, right? And if we look at the family structures, as you're growing up as a child, as you're expanding new, as you become an adult, you have old boundaries, but you have to push through those and establish new boundaries. Now, if you push through and there are no new boundaries, then you kind of flounder. And that's what happens from the internal part of your company when you start your marketing before you've actually established your new relationship with yourself and your team and your business and what it's going to look like for you on the inside. And the worst thing you can do is to do that and then go to your marketing people. Your marketing people, and that's why a fractional marketing department is so great, is because you have the access to the people to help you. You need their input also, because you need to know what is changing in the market while you're going along and how to hold your boundaries internally so you have something solid to market before you communicate outside of your company. And you want to do it inside your company because growth creates change, and people will come and people will go, and you've got to be ready to handle that. You can't be in the middle of a new marketing message and have the chaos inside your company at the same time. Oh my gosh, that's a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh, it is. Yeah, balls get dropped, messages don't go through, and that's what, another way the confusion and whatnot comes out in your messaging is because if you're not clear inside the business on the back end side of things, knowing what your new offers are or what your new approach is, whatever it is, it muddles everything inside, operationally, and externally with your marketing.
Oh, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. So, Sophie, tell me a little bit more about the message and how it matters to your scaling in a way that really helps them to take their message out into the world appropriately.
So the biggest thing you can do is making your message matter, because we're in a wild world. Well, we always have been, but as time goes on, it just gets wilder and wilder. I mean, every day you wake up and you're like, ooh, what exciting thing is going to happen in the world today? Who's going to say what? What's going on? Oh, what does my social media feed look like? But if you stay focused on what matters to you and to your ideal clients, to your audience, you can craft clear, direct marketing messages that will resonate with them. And that's why clarity around who you serve and how you serve them is really important, because you have to speak their language. You can't speak jargon. You can't speak buzzwords. You've got to talk to your people as if you are best friends and you've known them for years, and you're stepping into a relationship where you know what their problems are, you know what their aspirations are, and you can help them, and you're going to talk to them on their level, in their terms, not through jargon and buzzwords. That way it's clear and it will resonate with them. And it needs to be emotive. It needs to really speak to their heart, because if you hit their heart, they're going to stop and go, wait, she knows me. How does she know me so well? That's exactly what I'm going through. And then you have to maintain that clarity during growth. So you have to be ever vigilant about watching your metrics on the content you're putting out. Because if you put out this piece that you think is the bee's knees and it epically flops and nobody engages, or it doesn't bring in traffic to your website, you've got to quickly make sure you get away from that and get back to clarity. You're always watching your metrics and your data to make sure you're not going off course from that clear message that needs to come out during growth. And of course, you've got to be prepared before you actually release your messaging. You've got to make sure everything, all your ducks in a row. And I'm not talking perfection, because perfection is not what we're looking for, but it does have to be well thought out, well planned, and well written or well spoken, so that it will definitely come through clear even as you grow. Because while you're growing, you'll see things working and not working, and you're going to start pushing more towards what's working, and what's not, you're going to either tweak or get rid of. So you have to be doing that very strategically, or it does get muddled and unclear. So you are also making sure you're creating sustainable content flow as you go as well. Don't be doing all this last minute throw spaghetti against the wall stuff, because that will kill it too.
Well, and what you're really talking about, Sophie, is the necessity for alignment, right? Your message is being aligned. And to really have your message be aligned and have it be effective, you have to be aligned. You personally have to be able to show up, because as you're growing and scaling, your visibility increases significantly. And there was a time when your business is smaller that you can get away with hiding or not being yourself at all times when you're out in public. But the more you're out and about, the more important it is for you to be in alignment with yourself and to make sure that you keep you and your marketing messages in alignment and take care of yourself. Because if you are marketing and saying we're available X number of hours a day, and you're the one that is filling in the gap while you're building more team, that doesn't work very well, because you're going against your own natural rhythms. And it's really important to make sure that your internal structures in your company and in your personal life are set up so that they're in alignment with you, so that you're nurtured, you're taken care of, and that when you show up around your message and with your marketing, whether you're in person or on an interview, that you're always in alignment with you and what you're communicating. Otherwise, you can actually sabotage your beautiful marketing message that was created with your heart and with the heart of your business and the impact that you all want to make. So it's really super important that you step into that new level of a leader for you.
Absolutely. That also speaks to the no cookie cutter approach. You are who you are. You are unique, and you need to share that with the world from your perspective, both personally and in your business. Now, granted, we're not talking about oversharing and telling them every meal you eat and every time you go to the bathroom and, all those things. And we don't want to see you shower. I mean, none of that. But there is a balance, and your fractional marketing department and your coach like Victoria can help you find that balance of sharing who you really are, especially once you're aligned, because you need to have that alignment first, like Victoria said. But that all needs to come out in a personal side of you as well. You're not just this professional coach, consultant, doctor, whatever, who is all stiff and you know you've got personality, you've got a sense of humor, you might be a little goofy. I mean, whatever it is really okay to share that. And there are appropriate ways and levels of sharing that keep you human to your audience, but don't make you look like an idiot either.
Yeah, and when you're human to yourself, I love that I love the way you said that, Sophie. That is just awesome, because the piece is really who you truly are, and all the nitnoid things going on in your life are not the same. Who you truly are is when you're in alignment with your core you, your higher self, your soul, of course, heart and soul CEO. But when you're in alignment with that, what you share is literally your heart. It's not your drama. And I think that's the distinction that is really important to make, because in your message, your heart has to show up. And and when you show up on social media, it's about showing up from your heart. It's not about the drama. And we all think when you see people oversharing on social media, it's about the drama. It's not about who they are. It's about the drama. It's about the ego. It's about the attention.
Right. Absolutely.
And you can feel it when they show from their heart. And when your heart is in your marketing and your heart is in your business, everything's in alignment and things are going to go so much better.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely.
So let's dive into some systems that go with this to support this, because this is really important, Sophie. So what's your take on systems for consistent marketing?
Well, with marketing, you can build frameworks and systems around your content creation when you're doing it strategically and when you're doing it based on the data behind the scenes of what you've been doing, because you will know what works, what resonates, and what people want to hear, see, etc., by having your data and metrics set up so that you can create content frameworks that save time to create your messaging, and you can maintain quality and consistency because you're building it out in advance. You're looking, anywhere from a month at a time, which is the most minimal you need to do, to 90 days at a time. And some people plan out their entire year. If you're willing to kind of watch that and pivot it and not be locked in stone, because things change and evolve, your message may grow and change. And if you're creating messaging in October that you planned in January and things have drastically changed, you're going to kill your marketing. So you don't want to go too far out in advance. Usually setting up a 90-day content plan is the way to go. And there's a framework for doing that makes even that easy. Because I know you're like, wait, I got to think of a content calendar for 90 days. What? Well, that's why you develop the framework. In that case, it's rinse and repeat in the sense of the structure of the framework that allows you to create your calendar, but it doesn't make your content cookie cutter and bland. You have to also know how to repurpose your content, because that's another way to save time in content creation and that you learn through your metrics as well. When you see your top 5 blog posts or your top 5 social media posts that are killing it, that is your sign that you need to look at those pieces and look at that content and see how you can break them down into other pieces of content, other topics, other ways to display, to get that information out there, reworded or more in depth, or one piece at a time. Like if it was an article that had the top 3 things of XYZ and it killed it on your blog, then you can go deeper and do, take that one and make things out of it. Take number 2 and make things out of it. And take number 3 and make things out of it, and go deeper so that they can get more of that content that they love, yet you're not having to come up with something from scratch off the top of your head. And of course, this allows you to create sustainable content flow as you scale, because you're already planning ahead and you're not waiting till everything's done and going, okay, now we got to create our content plan and our marketing. And it's like, wait, you're missing out on lots of time already having your message out there, prepping your audience to be ready to drop that dollar when you are ready to launch the thing that all this is built around.
Yeah, what you're really talking about, Sophie, there is really, really important, is having that structure, which also has to have corresponding structures and systems within the operational side of the business. It's really amazing how they align together, because, and I'd like to give our audience just a little example with you, like a marketing content structure, how to make it easy. And the framework is, Sophie's my friend and she's my colleague and she's been awesome all along. And one of the things when she's talking about putting your marketing content together, I know from my own experience at one point in time, and it was like, oh my God, I can't, how do I structure it when I don't know what I'm going to write? Well, I have the RISE method, which is is what I use in my work, right? Well, that RISE method has 4 components to it. And I can talk about those 4 components every month. And each month I can take it deeper and deeper and deeper with one of those. So at the highest level, whatever your process or your product or whatever is you can talk about it in different segments over time and see what, like what Sophie was saying, is what works really well. And that's really your foundation. And that foundation, you have to have that in your business, because if your client delivery does not match your marketing and does not have the same care, your client delivery systems and structures are the most important aspects of your internal structures that have to be aligned with you and aligned with your message that you're putting out in marketing, because your reputation is at stake when delivery and marketing are disconnected and going like this. It does not work at all.
Absolutely. So many business owners at all levels, but even more so at the 7 and 8 figure level, they really struggle with imposter syndrome. And if their messaging, if their marketing is messaging one thing and their client delivery is another, they are actually self-sabotaging themselves into being an imposter, because they're talking one thing on marketing and delivering a different thing, and the clients are going, this isn't what I signed up for. And you literally set yourself up for self sabotage, which is why you need the kind of clarity both in your alignment and the inside of your business through coaching with Victoria, and then aligning your marketing to go with that. Because if you're keeping them as separate entities and not making sure they are aligned and go together, then it is self-sabotage, because it's not like you sit down and go, okay, I'm going to say this in my marketing and I'm going to do this in my delivery because I am an idiot. You don't do that. It's, you don't deliberately it's a subconscious thing that goes on in your head, because you're like, oh, but I might be giving them too much, or I don't know if I can do that or say that. And it's like, that's where you have to be clear and aligned, and you have to have all your structures and frameworks in place on both sides, making sure they work together, not separate entities that never the two shall meet. And that's where it comes in. That's why operations and marketing are so very much married. A lot of people don't see that. And a lot of people will think, oh, well, the marketing team does the operations, so I don't need and it's like, no. The marketing team does marketing operations and implementation, but we do not do business operations, client delivery operations, all these different things. They are separate entities in that respect, but they go together and they have to be worked out and planned out together.
Exactly. And the one thing we need to remember to tell everybody is make sure the way you are dealing with your employees is, and your team, whether they're contractors or employees, is in complete alignment with both your client delivery and your marketing delivery, because your employees not having that and how you handle that people side, this is really all about relationships, whether it's with your clients, whether it's with your team, or whether it's with your marketing. Those relationships are the most important thing, and you need to be in alignment with you and make sure you bring on the clients and the team and everybody that's in alignment with your message and your impact that you want to make, and you'll be able to scale like you wouldn't believe.
Yes, and that's where clarity on your mission, your vision, and your core values is absolutely critical, because that's where you communicate that to your team, to your clients, in your marketing. And that is where those relationships come in. And that's where you're speaking to your ideal clients as if you know them personally. And that's why your team is on fire in a good way to support you, to do the work, because they are bought in, because they have the same mission and vision and core values that you do. And they're ready to go, they're going to be in alignment because you have all that clear and you're communicating that in the hiring process. It starts before they even become part of your team. You need to communicate that in the hiring process because you can eliminate a lot of bum applicants if they don't buy into your mission, vision, and core values.
Exactly, exactly. And with that is like, okay, so Sophie, how many people have come to you to do their marketing and didn't have their vision, mission, core values, or even their strategic vision of where they wanted to take their company I mean, it's like one of those things. So many people don't do that until they bring on a marketing team.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, or that they do the solopreneur thing, and they're doing it all, and they think they know what they want, they think they know what their goal is, they think they know how to get there, and then they hire marketing, and the marketing goes, so what's your vision? What's your goal? And it's like, oh, my vision is to serve everybody in the world, having an impact on the global emotions of the world, and I'm going to make millions of dollars doing it. Okay, that's like super vague, super like what?
Right. Well, and then, part of it is too is life is designed to flow. Yes, it takes effort, but it doesn't have to be hard. And it becomes hard. Our life, our business gets so frustrating. You get frustrated with the people that are doing your marketing. You get frustrated with your team. You get frustrated with your clients. You get frustrated with yourself and the business itself because the business is not you. And everything can go to hell in a handbasket for all that goes, to use that old saying. And you want it to be natural so that it all flows. Doesn't mean you won't have challenges and you won't get tripped up and things won't go cockeyed once in a while, but you want it all to flow naturally. And it's really important so that your message can do that. Sophie, you want to take that a little deeper?
Yes, absolutely. That is one thing about marketing today that is so different from years past on social media, on websites. The digital world is looking for natural, real, authentic, genuine people. And yes, some of those words are buzzwords, but they're not a buzzword if you are truly using your authentic voice that really gives them that emotion that we're looking for. Because if you're this cold professional, I'm a consultant for XYZ company, and I really want to work with you because you need my financial advice. I mean, really? Come on. It's got to come from your heart and soul. And, there are a lot of people out there that think, marketing with F bombs is horrible, and, saying certain things that are taboo are, that you can't do that. And it's like, if that is truly you, if you are an F bomber, then you can F bomb in your marketing, and you should. I mean, now granted, you shouldn't go over the top with it. And because there is just like oversharing, there is over F bombing. But you've got to be true, authentic, and genuine. And if you are, there are people with really thick accents, whether they be Southern accents in the United States, French accents from France, whatever. A lot of people try to hide that and be like, someone who doesn't have an accent and speaks perfect English. And it's like, no, you are who you are. And, for me, a longtime marketer, I love to see the people with their accents, no matter what accent it is, play it up, because people will be attracted to that and they will listen. Now, not every, and if you're talking to your ideal audience because you've got clarity on that, that's that boost that really gives you that authentic voice that can scale and grow with your business, because you are creating connection points that resonate. And as long as you're doing that, being the real you and staying true to your message as you grow, because Your things may change in your marketing and things may change a little bit in your offer, but your message about who you are, what you do, how you serve, how you get results, how you help people get to their aspirations, that part doesn't change drastically. And as long as you can stay true to your voice, your connection with your people in a resonant, emotive manner, that will keep you true to your message. Don't look at trends. Don't look at what Jane is doing over here. Don't look at what Fred's doing over there. Don't look at what TikTok is doing, because if TikTok ain't your place, don't be on TikTok. It's okay. I'm giving you permission to not be on TikTok. Okay. So you've got to be you where you're supposed to be in front of your people who want to hear you be you. And that is through an authentic, natural voice, even when you're doing video. When so many people want to be scripted and the less produced your video is, the better. The more natural you are, if you flub up, so what? It is a part of it. It is part of being human, and that's what they want to see. So it actually makes your marketing easier. It makes creating your message easier when you are in alignment, you know who you are, and you know how you want to show up as both you, the business owner, and the expert.
Absolutely. And it's really important for you to be able to do that, is that you have personal structures set up, you have business structures set up that give you the space and the time to really tap in and be authentic to you. Because if you're stressing about shoulds, like Sophie was talking about, Joe over here in the way they're doing their marketing, or I should do it this way. If you ever use the word should, stop, because should just shoulds on yourself, because then you're comparing yourself. And when you have structures in your business that support you, and you structure your life so that it supports you, you can absolutely be authentic in everything that you do. Your marketing team can take your authentic message and you can do the videos, and they'll have a great time editing your videos because you're being authentic, and they'll probably chuckle halfway through them as well. And they'll decide to leave some of the bloopers in just because they know it's you. So it's really important that the people around you in your immediate circle in your business are totally in alignment with you. And that's part of your operational structures, so that you can really connect with your audience. Because if you don't take care of you, you can't help anybody else, regardless of what it is going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so, Sophie, what would you like to say to our audience in conclusion today?
First of all, man, we whipped through that. We're going to finish well before an hour, which is totally fine because we don't want to keep anybody longer than they want to be kept. But
Right.
when it comes to growth and scaling, your business operations, your marketing, every aspect of your business has to be able to grow and change and scale with you, and it has to be able to do it as naturally as possible. But it's important because if you don't scale every part of your business with you, the person, the expert, the deliverer of the service, the creator of the product, it's going to stagnate and you're never going to make that breakthrough from 7 to 8 figures or 8 to 9 figures, whatever you're going for. So it's really important to stay clear throughout it all. Don't panic if something seems off. Don't panic if it's not perfect. Make sure you are clear on every aspect, internally, externally, personally, and business, team, the vision, the mission, the core values. It all matters, and it must be clear so that you can have the right operations behind the scenes, the right client and service delivery, the right marketing that's going to actually get results. And part of that is structures and frameworks, which I know, well, that's not natural, but it is. There is order to the universe. There is order to the world most of the time. Let's not look at each day. So, what I would say to you is if you're ready to make your marketing message actually matter and grow sustainably and naturally and easily with you and your business, go to fmdstrategicpartners.com to discover how our fractional marketing department can help 7 and 8 figure businesses create that marketing that connects and converts so that you can naturally and very consistently and sustainably grow your business, your revenue, and create the life that you desire outside of it.
Absolutely. And in conjunction with that, Sophie, one of the things that you all have to know, and I'm just going to be really real with you here, is what we're talking about in growth and scaling is really a transformation, because who you're becoming in the process of your growth and scaling is not who you are now or who you've been in the past. As you go through the transformation, let me tell you, it can be absolutely uncomfortable. And how it goes will depend on how much resistance you have to that inner growth and scaling that is happening inside you, and how you can align the rest of your business with it. And it's important that your business strategies are also communicated to be in alignment with you, because that's how your marketing gets aligned with you, is to make sure that everything is in alignment. And if you're ready to create a business that truly lights you up without sacrificing what matters most, that's what this transformation is about. You can DM me for an advanced copy of the RISE integration code before its official release next week. And this guide reveals how to bridge your spiritual evolution with practical business success without sacrificing what matters most to you. So DM me or drop a comment, and I'll be happy to get you an advanced copy of this. And with that, any final little words, Sophie?
Be you, be real, and let's do this. It's now is the time. It is not the time to hold back, to hide. It is time to get out there and pursue and go after your dreams, because waiting for tomorrow is not the way to go. Let's do it. Let's do it now, and let's do it right, naturally, comfortably, because we are going to take them from uncomfort to comfort. But then we aren't going to let
Absolutely.
them stay there, because you always have to be uncomfortable to keep growing and changing and evolving. And if you don't do it on your own, the world's going to make you do it. So you might as well do it on your terms rather than having the universe or the world push you along.
Yeah, those cosmic 2x4s and railroad ties don't feel so good. And I know, Sophie, you and I both experienced those. So let us help you not have to use the cosmic 2x4s or railroad ties, depending on what level you are. Let's get you going. And just know that it's a lot easier to create change in your life when it's your choice versus being forced on you. And change is in the air right now. So let's take advantage of it and get going. With that, I'd say goodbye, everyone. We've had a great time talking with each other and sharing with you, and hopefully you have gotten a lot of benefit out of today.
And I will say, don't forget, we do this once a month on the second Thursday of the month at 1 p.m. Eastern. So we look forward to seeing you next month in May for the next Real Talk session. Bye for now.